The following was recorded in front of a live studio audience at the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe. This is the United Podcast Network.
Welcome to the raw and uncensored Ambitchious podcast. I'm your host, the original HBIC, Katie Boyd. During our time here together, I will be instilling all of the strength, power, and determination you will need to use the very stones thrown at you to build your ultimate empire. We will redefine the word bitch from the derogatory to the acronym being in total control of herself. So let's adjust our crowns and prepare to live life ambitiously. Oh yeah, here I am, the original HBIC, Katie motherfucking Boyd. And over here is someone who's trying to steal my show. Matthew Martini Babine. He's so annoying. He always you guys can't hear this because it's muted, but he's going, oh yeah, as I'm trying to get ready to, not that I would ever screw up my own intro, but geez, Matt.
That's why you're confident. I'm like, oh yeah.
I'm going to kick your ass. I am going to kick your ass.
This is going to be an awesome podcast today, by the way.
Yes, because this is something that's plagued me for many, many, many moons. And not until just recently was I like, you know what? I got to stop waiting on the reciprocation from other people, thinking that everyone is nice and loving and kind like I am, because I am just a letdown bitch all the damn time. Right?
Not anymore.
So today's Ambitchious podcast is all about reciprocation.
Yes.
Stop expecting people to do for you what you do for them, damn it.
Yes.
Right? It's killing us. It is killing us. But before we start, I want to talk about two things. One is go over to www.kbmfc.com and you will be able to see all the amazing things coming down the pretty pink pipeline. All things Ambitchious, all things Katie Boyd's Misfit Club. And secondly, Ayana, owner of Prana Hair, Skin, and Lash.com, one of our beautiful and wonderful sponsors to the Ambitchious podcast. Reach out to her, tell her we sent you, and you will get your Ambitchious discount. Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Because we all know we need a little bit more beauty in our lives.
Yes.
Right? Especially Matt Babine.
I love beauty.
I wish that Ayana would wax his ass.
Oh, God, you wouldn't want that for poor Ayana.
No, I wouldn't. But I mean, someone's going to do it. And I'm sick of it. I freaking have to put a whole slicker on.
Oh,
and I have slicker. And I have those friggin'.
I don't remember this. Was I dreaming? Was I asleep?
No, when you make me near you, it's like so horrifying.
Well, when I go to nice, tropical islands, I like to be, nice.
Like every time Matt's like, I want to go to the sun, I'm like, fuck. I got to get my slicker out and I got to get my friggin' 35-gallon tub of Nair.
Let me ask you a question. Who else is the lovely lady that would ever take care of her husband like that? No
Dude,
one.
seriously, there's like a Wookiee.
I'm blessed.
There's a Wookiee just sitting in the drain when we're done.
I think there's only one person that was hairier than me.
Who?
Along with Robin Williams. I saw him do some scuba diving or some snorkeling.
Robin Williams. Rest in peace, Robin.
In peace. I love Robin Williams. But he was very hairy.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm like a Muppet. He goes, I thought it was so funny.
Katie, you do a bikini wax?
No, like a whole wax of his back and chest.
Everything.
Yeah, his knuckles, because I thought dragging them on the ground would get rid of the hair, but it's not working.
Just put melted wax in the bathtub and then Matt jumps in.
I think that's a great idea.
It's like a dip. It's like a
flea dip.
Yeah.
But to get his hair off. He's like the shaggy dog.
I probably have some fleas in there too.
It's so awful. So this is what I have to do. Not that this has anything to do with the podcast, but I'm sure you guys are all entertained out there driving around in your minivans.
The 40, I'm like the 40-year-old virgin.
Dude. So he'll say to me, Katie, we're going away to such and such a place. I really need a Nair. So I will put it off literally to the very last second. Then I will have to take 2 huge gallon tubs of Nair, put them in hot water to make them warm so that when I apply the cream to his body, he doesn't scream like a bitch.
Because it's cold.
Okay.
Then warm chemical.
I have to put my slicker on, and then I have to get those long gloves like a butcher would wear, like up to their armpits. Because I used to do it without my slicker and my gloves, but then what happened was my hands would disintegrate off from the Nair.
Now it's a system.
There's a whole system. And then I have to wear this like little strawberry shortcake hat because I don't want Nair to get in my hair and then I'll be bald headed.
Oh yeah, like Lucy wore at the factory.
Yes, exactly. It's the same one.
I hope you guys are enjoying this.
I'm
just here to be humiliated in front of the world.
Then I put the Nair on him. And then like when I get to his back, he's like, my neck is burning. My neck is burning. And I'm like, buddy, it hasn't even been on for 2 minutes. And then I have to get a scraper, like a squeegee, like the people in New York use to like clean the windows, and I have to squeegee it all off. Then I have to scrub it all off, and then any like little.
That part feels good.
He has like a lot of white hairs. He has a lot of polar ice on his chest.
Yeah.
So then I have to shave it off. So it's like a 10-step process.
I am 50.
Just so Matt doesn't have to look like a fucking Chewie. So he doesn't have to look like Chewbacca on the beach.
But how much I feel so much better after, and thank you very much. And I don't know, you are the best, magnificent woman.
Don't even get me started on how I have to pluck his ear and nose hair.
I take care of that on my own.
Yeah, he has like
I can see, I do my own.
You know the thing that goes zzz up in your nose? Well, he has it, but it doesn't work. It's dull as fuck because it probably is from like the Kremlin or some shit, right?
Maybe he could take the money he's saving on monthly charges.
Exactly.
And get a new one.
No shit.
That would be an investment, right?
Yeah.
I think that would be an investment for my marriage.
But he doesn't understand that the hair doesn't just grow out of his ears. It grows from his earlobes.
Yeah,
so every so often I'll be driving with him in the car and I'll look over and there's just like curly pig dick hair hanging, wisping in the moonlight.
This is just a roast going on now.
Dude, we should have a roast Matt. We should have a roast Matt podcast. That'd be so easy.
We already have it. You guys
every month, every week is really a roast Matt podcast. All right, Matt, let's stop talking about your hair. You're really being narcissistic about your beauty regimen.
I may not show up to the podcast.
So pretty much reach out to Ayana. She'll help you. Ayana, I love you. All right, so listen. One of the most difficult matters to face in our lives is that to be really happy, we must let go of the notion that just because we're loving, kind, and helpful people doesn't mean that others are the same. Are you picking up what I'm putting down, people? Thinking everything in life is about reciprocation is going to leave you and I in sad, anxious, and utterly depressed states. From this energy, resentment will spring up and plague us for the rest of our days. So today, I am going to give you the top 5 ways to break away from the resentment of reciprocation, and Matt is just going to be here
with my pretty
all
little face,
hairy and shit.
I'm hairy today because it's winter.
I can actually see his white hairs poking through his black polo right now.
Yes,
it's really
watching it on Facebook.
It's like hugging a. It's like hugging a piece of steel wool.
Let's move on to the topics.
First of all, Ambitchious, we're going to recognize, number one, we're going to recognize where this belief came from in the first place. Awareness of where this idea came from in the first place is in healing this broken thought form. If we saw our moms, dads, or caregivers display this faulty thinking, then most likely somewhere along the way we had this bad computer program installed into our subconscious minds. Knowing where it came from will help you realize and recognize that this belief is not our own, right?
Recognizing it is everything.
Like we think like, oh, like I'm so loving and kind and I just did this nice thing for someone. They're going to instantly reciprocate that nice thing back to me. Or just because you do something for someone, you think that all of a sudden they're going to have the smarts or wherewithal to like do the same thing back for you. Doesn't work that way.
No.
Right?
So I think if you're going to do something nice, you just have to do it with no outcome.
Strings attached.
No strings attached. Just I'm doing this and I'm just doing it. And I think too, I was thinking about, what you wrote. It's like, why do we think that we're going to get something back in the first place, right? Yes. So I think that's wrong, thinking incorrectly right there, right?
Oh my God, yeah.
Should be just like, I'm going to do this because I'm just going to do it.
Yes.
Right? But I think I was like you a lot of ways. I would be like, I did all this and then I didn't get anything back.
Oh, well.
It's not a way. Yeah, it's not the way to be.
No, I agree. And it just keeps you small.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So recognize where the belief came from. Put your finger on it. Think deeply about it. And then number 2, recognize your role in it. We are the ones that inevitably cage ourselves like animals in a zoo. Except the cages are not cold iron bars. The cages are in our minds. Dwelling on the fact that when we do something good for someone, help someone, pay someone else a compliment, loan someone money, cover for a colleague at work, or whatever the scenario may be, looking at ourselves in the mirror and admitting that we are the root cause of this issue. Remember, no one can take advantage of us unless we allow it. That being said, realizing that we are the perpetrator of this behavior that is not serving our highest and most powerful selves is the next step in being a recovering people pleaser, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It happens all the time.
Yeah, it does.
You're not as bad as this than I am.
You know, I used to be. And then
Really?
I kind of looked at it and I said, why am I acting like this? And then usually when I found out, when I started doing my meditation
Yes.
and really working on myself as a human being, you know, maybe 10, 15 years ago,
Yes.
somewhere around there. And I was like, you know, there must be something lacking in me that I'm looking for outside. Good job, or thank you for doing this, a validation,
Yes.
right? And now it's like if I do something, I'm just doing it because I'm doing it from a really good place.
Yes.
You know, because I'm in a better place,
Right.
obviously, than I was then because I've learned, you know, and I'm still learning and growing. But it is not, it's, you know, it's really, like you said, the first one is recognizing, why am I doing this? And especially if you get slapped in the face every time.
Oh my God, every time.
Because then you're taking it personally,
Right.
right? It's like, I did this, and then you know, they treat me like that, and it's
Right.
like, then you're just a glutton for punishment.
Totally.
Right? So, yeah, so I think once you get slapped in the face a couple times doing it, but there's other people, my God, I would do everything for, and I really don't want anything back at all. I don't want anything back.
True.
You know? But there is a reciprocation.
Well, you don't realize that, and this is the way that the universe works. It's like if I do something for you, Matt Babine,
Yes.
I might not get that reciprocation back from you, but because their karma is real,
Right. Cause
I
and
will
effect.
get that sometime maybe down the road.
Yes.
From someone else that I didn't even think would be the person that brought that to me.
Yes.
Right?
So much, yeah, absolutely, cause and effect. So,
So-
if you treat people a certain way, then it's going to come back to you eventually.
So take some damn responsibility and know that you have a very huge role to play in this whole like dramaturgy that your life is turning into, hoping and wishing and praying that people are going to treat you and be to you the way that you are to them.
Right.
It's not going to happen.
Nope.
Right?
Nope. And if it does, it's a surprise,
Ha.
right?
Yeah. Just like when you're not hairy.
Yes.
That's a surprise.
Surprise! I'm not hairy.
Number 3, mourn. All right, I know this sounds crazy, but when you have been living a certain way your entire life, even if it's not serving you, you must mourn the death of the old so that you can step into becoming the new, evolved, and elevated version of yourself. Give yourself some space and some grace to let go of the old version of you, just like the caterpillar has to go through the pain and the suffering to become the beautiful butterfly. So do we have to feel the feelings to evolve and level up. And no one can help you.
No. Well, what happens to the butterfly? That's the best analogy ever. If you help the butterfly break out of the chrysalis, it actually what?
It will die.
Not strong enough to actually fly and take care of
It
itself.
has to go through the pain to strengthen its wings and to dry its wings and all those things that so it can actually fly.
Yep.
And I've seen butterflies actually be coming out when we were like little kids and my friends like next door were like, I'm gonna help it. I'm like, you're gonna kill that thing.
Yeah.
I knew that then. I don't know how I knew that.
I never knew that, but I would just leave it alone anyways. I'm not gonna touch that thing.
Or like when people go up into like a bird's nest and they touch the eggs, it's like, don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't.
Yeah.
Even
How about the bird I saved over the summer?
That was a good thing.
Right?
There was
saved
a
this
little
bird.
tiny baby bird in a nest near our house, and Matt was outside smoking a cigar, of course, not doing yard work or anything like that.
And it breathed in the smoke that fell out of the nest.
Probably.
I saved it. No, actually, I was the catalyst of it falling out of the nest with my stogie.
He comes in, he goes, Katie, there's a bird. You got to see this thing. So the mom had used like string and twine in its nest, and when it came out of its egg, little tiny birdie leg, it was like a toothpick, was wrapped around a piece of twine. So it was trying to fly away and it was like pulling its leg. So Matt got up on a ladder and like unhinged the bird's little foot, and he just went and met his little brothers and sisters. It was really cute.
And then he was watching me for like ever. Every time I would be
He was
outside,
like, thank you, big bald hairy monster.
Yeah, exactly. I think he was saying that. I'm like, oh, this is my little friend.
Yeah, it was so gratitude filled.
It was gratitude filled, and I got my reciprocation, and I wasn't expecting anything. Actually, I was really going to be really sad if I couldn't save the little guy.
Yes, but Max came in screaming like a bitch, like, "Ow, bird!"
What?
He's like, "What am am I supposed to do with this bird?
I did not say it that way. I said, hey, listen, we have a problem. I'm going to go up on a ladder and save this bird.
Oh, please. I was like, bro, you need to get up on a ladder. He's like, what if I hurt it? I'm like, well, what's the worst thing that can happen? I mean, this leg was getting pulled out.
Katie, we have a situation.
Pretty much.
Would not be
we always have a situation, and because we live in the
woods.
The wild yonder. So there's always some shit going on. There's like a 3-legged turtle walking in our backyard.
God, that was the weirdest thing.
Yeah, I have to save mice out of the little thing where the snake is.
Yeah.
I always have something going on. I have to save squirrels from people's yards.
Yeah.
Matt brings them to the 24-hour vet care.
I was a hero that day too.
Oh, yeah.
I saved the little squirrel.
Matt brought this little squirrel in the shoebox that I found, and all I could see, I was like, well, I don't want to do it. It's late at night, Matt. You just bring it in. And I just saw all the women in there go, oh, this big bald monster is bringing this little tiny squirrel.
Saving animals left and right.
Yeah.
Such a loving soul.
Yes.
Karma is very good.
So you all just mourn that death of the old you to become the new you. It's just part of the process.
Yeah.
Right?
It absolutely is. And you will mourn it too, because if you make a change, you're letting something go.
100%.
And we found when you do change something, put something else in its place, right?
Yes.
So if you got rid of one either habit or whatever you're doing, add something to it.
Totally.
Right? So you don't have that vacuum.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Number 4, set your intention for new people to come in. If you look around at your circle of people who are closest to you and you realize your circle is not a circle of loving and kind, helpful humans, but a cage, then you know it's time to separate yourself from the old and call in the new. Remember, ambitches are powerful beyond measure. If we set the intention to find our peer groups, our fellow goddesses and our mistress minders will come to you. It will happen. Intention is the power.
Absolutely. And if I look around and I think about everyone that I'm with and hanging around with, all of our friends, I mean, we are blessed. I mean, we have like the best people. They are always looking for what's best for us. We don't even have to. I mean, they're really that great of a group of people. But it took a long time. And sometimes, there's ones that are hanging on around the periphery.
We call those the dinkleberries of friends.
You have a couple that hang around the periphery, like, from years ago.
Yeah.
Just kind of like
the shitty toilet paper balls that hang on your anus hair.
On your hairy ass.
On your hairy ass.
On your hairy ass. And
Yep.
sometimes, you got to get that buzzer up there and kind of like set them free.
You gotta get the booty weed whacker.
The booty weed whacker and let them go.
Yeah.
Be free, you little chrysalis ones that don't serve.
Usually dinkleberries end up on the floor of my bathroom from someone I know.
Sometimes it happens, I mean,
God.
But really, I mean, sometimes you have to just let some people go.
Let it go.
But always like the vacuum again. Somebody else great will come in.
Yep.
Right.
But you got to let the people go that are the dinkleberries.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Perfect.
I don't know how it goes to Dingleberries.
I don't know.
Okay.
It's entertainment here. Yeah. We're entertaining. Number 5, forgive yourself and others. Forgiveness is one of the most powerful ways to lighten your load and ascend to higher vibrational frequencies. When we not only forgive others for treating us poorly, but also, more importantly, we forgive ourselves for allowing the treatment to have happened in the first place, right? And that will lead you on the road to recovery, and it will help you become the HBIC in your ambitious life. So don't hold on to resentment just because people didn't reciprocate shit to you. No. Right? Let it go.
And sometimes the hardest person to forgive, I know for me, it's myself.
Oh, yeah.
Right? When
Agreed.
It's like if I do something stupid or I, held on to a relationship that was way too long or whatever the case may be, and then I come down on myself.
Absolutely.
But I've learned over the years to kind of really forgive yourself. Nobody's perfect. And if you made a mistake or whatever it is, let it go.
Yeah.
And just really let it go. Don't just say it, but really, like you said, forgive yourself and then move
Right, because so many people are like, I forgive myself and I forgive others. I'm like, but do you really?
Yeah, probably not, because it's freaking hard. I mean,
it
it's
is
hard to forgive yourself, especially if you're like overachiever type A or whatever the personality type is. It's not easy
Number
to let
1,
yourself off.
like Mr. Ed Sullivan, the perfectionist.
Letting yourself
That's
go.
me.
Yeah. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Matt's number 3, the Dinkleberry.
No, number 3 is very, very powerful.
No, what is the number 3? The leader. Number 3 is the leader.
Yeah.
Number 1's perfectionist. I'm a number 8. I'm the challenger.
Tell everybody what the numbers mean. Where did you get these numbers from?
So this is totally off topic, but this is super interesting. It's called an Enneagram test. It's a personality test. And I think it's like 1 through 8 personalities. And you take this list. It's like a multiple choice test. It's super easy.
Sure.
Except they try to trick you by asking you the same questions over and over again in like different ways and shit.
Yeah.
And I took it like a while ago and I was a 2, but I'm definitely more of an 8. And then it tells you like what your good like personality characteristics are, like how to be better, what to watch out for. For instance, like 8's the challenger. We like to like really push the status quo and we like to push. But what happens is when you're an unhealthy 8, you become very tyrannical.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Which I'm sure you've never seen me be that.
No, you would never see that as I roll my eyes.
And Matt's a leader, which is true. You are an amazing leader.
Thank you.
And Mr. Ed Sullivan's a number 1, which is a perfectionist, which because of what he does, having the perfectionism trait is actually really good. Yeah. But when the perfectionism gets too much, it can be a little crazy.
All right, you'll let me know if it's too much.
Yeah, like the beginning of this podcast.
Oh, rag on Matt Day.
And maybe the last couple. But I'm not remember. I'm going to let it go. And I'm going to forgive you. And I will forgive myself. It's just all fun and games here on the Ambitchious podcast. God, yes.
So I hope in my little black heart that you are going to stop wanting from people what you give, because it will never happen. And if you don't let this shit go, you are going to be a very depressed bitch.
Yeah, absolutely.
Agreed?
Yeah, agreed.
Thank you for each and every one of you that show up here every week and spread love for this Ambitchious movement. And like I always say, see you next Tuesday.
Good job.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, or callers of this program do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe, the United Podcast Network, its partners, or affiliates.